too hot to touch. Today I'm going to show you how I diagnose a brake that's dragging or an outright stuck brake caliper. I'm going to show you the 4 areas that can cause this situation, and is it a bad brake caliper or is it a bad brake hose, and 2 other areas to check while diagnosing this. For now, we're going to let this cool down until I could work on it. I was driving home and the brake on this stuck. I felt it sticking when I stopped at a light, and I started going, and it made a grinding sound. And when I got home, this brake wheel was actually smoking. There are a few conditions you could tell whether you have a brake that's dragging or that's stuck. One, while you're driving the car, want to pull to the side and the brake is locked and it's just locked on this side. And another thing you'll notice, another thing you notice, I have an audience today, is all this brake dust. Normally you will get some brake dust around the wheel, especially when you, thanks Crumb. It's normal to get brake dust around the wheel, especially when you put new brakes on. You'll get a little extra dust, but this is excessive. This was all from just a couple of miles that I had to drive to get back home. So once this cools off, I'll be removing the wheel and we'll get into this. Before we get to the caliper, I want to point this out. If your brake pads were running low and your fluid was dropping in the reserve and you added new fluid to it, thinking that you needed fluid, well, as the pads were running low, the fluid level was dropping also. Now you put new pads in and they're significantly thicker than the old pads that you're replacing. So what happens now, as those pads are pushed back, fluid is coming up into this reserve. When you step on the brake, you may have too much fluid in here, and it's not letting the piston in the caliper retract because there's too much fluid. So if you recently changed your brake pads and you added fluid prior to that, I would check this out first. If that's your case, this is an easy fix right here. 5 minutes and you're done. In my case, that's not the situation. Let's go take a look. Anyway, don't lick that. I have the wheel off and you can see all the dust in there, the brake dust. See that? You don't want to breathe this in. Get this wheel out of the way. Here are the areas that could be the problem. This is my bleeder, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get out. I'm going to heat it up a little bit, put some penetrating fluid on it, and see if I can loosen this up. This looks like it just rotted away. This vehicle is a 2000 Chevy Blazer, been in the Northeast its whole life, loaded with rust, and I only take this out once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. And I had it parked on the grass to get it out of the way, to make room in the driveway, and that may have caused my problem. But generally, this is what I would look for. I wasn't expecting to see this, so this puts a little crimp in my video. But what I would do, I would go in the vehicle, step on the brake, loosen the bleeder. If fluid comes out of the bleeder, and if you can move the piston by putting a screwdriver in here and pushing it back, and that piston moves freely, well, then you have a bad brake hose. If you open this up and a little fluid should drip out, or a lot of fluid should drip out, there may be pressure, may not be pressure, and you cannot move this piston back and forth, you have a seized piston. Or another problem you may have are these pins. Again, I would have to take this apart to show you what I'm talking about. These pins should slide back and forth. You have one up here and one down on the bottom. So what you're looking for is to see whether the piston in the caliper moves. You're looking to see whether it's a bad caliper or not. You still want to make sure these pins are lubricated when you put it back together, because this will cause a problem. And if the caliper is good and your pins are okay, to check this hose, what you can do is to open it up right over here where it connects to the metal hose that goes under the hood. If you have fluid coming out of this line but nothing on this side here, you know it's a bad hose. I want to show you how to diagnose and make this repair, but with this bleeder valve being the way it is, I'm going to be under here for a while. Again, you're looking to see if the caliper is good. Then you're looking to see if these pins, the 2 pins, slide. You're checking your hose. Anything behind here, as far as your master cylinder and everything, this video isn't geared towards that. This is just from the caliper to where the brake hose connects to the brake line going under the hood. I hope this is of some help. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, give it a like. It does help. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. Hit that Joe Z button. And not to miss my new videos as I upload them, be sure to ring that bell. Oh, in the description down below, I have parts that you may need to do a brake job like this. It's to my Amazon account. It's an affiliate link. Any purchases you make through there are no additional cost to you, but it does help with the channel and it's greatly appreciated. Until next time, stay safe.